Venerable monk, and also my very good friend Maulavi, doctor, and also the learned lawyer. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be sharing with you a few thoughts on behalf of the Christian church. I don't know whether I am the right person to be speaking on behalf of the whole church, but at least I have had a little journey with the YMBA in recent times, and I've discovered that there is a contribution that I could make. So it is in the light of that I accept this invitation to come and share with you. When you look at the bill, I'm sure you will have many problems, plus you will have many things that you would like to appreciate. That's my position. I'm not going to reject this bill entirely, because there is a long felt need that needs to be attended to, and the government has started addressing it. Now, of course, it is the responsibility of the religious and the social leaders to take it up and make a public forum where we can discuss this. So I'm glad that YMBA is giving that lead, and I'm sure in the time to come there will be many more of this. Now, talking about the gender balancing or gender equality, Christianity stands for that, because our Christian faith is based on the Holy Scriptures, nothing else. It comes first. And then we find that in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verses 26 and 27, it reads like this: So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. God blessed them and said to them, Be fruitful and increase the number, fill the earth and subdue it. Now, that is our theology, our doctrine of the human being. The human being, before you talk about the two genders, the human being is God's creation. And in his design, he intended that the human being should be created in his own image. Now, image doesn't mean this image. It is a unique relationship and a fellowship that God gave to the human being, which was not there for the rest of the creation. All that belongs to him. And at the same time, when he created the human being, he said, we must make him in the image of God. So therefore, thank God that he didn't say, okay, now I am creating, there is another story now. First Adam was created. It's not only that Adam was given the image of God. Eve was also given the image of God. That's what we are told here very clearly. He made them female, male and female. He created them in the image of God. So there itself, God establishes gender equality. Now, I'm not saying that the Christian church is the perfect example of maintaining that God's vision and understanding of gender equality, but this is where it begins. And at all times, in all places, here on earth, we have to uphold that truth. And also there is another story in the book of Genesis that is taken in Genesis chapter 2, which many people often talk about. How was the woman created? And then they say, she was taken out of my rib. No. Right. Yes, she was taken out of the rib. Very symbolic. Right. But remember, God didn't create the woman from a piece of the skull. Then men would have had their problems. Right? Neither did he create the woman from one of the bones of a toe. Then man will be trampling over the woman. Right? So again we find it was a partnership. They were equal. They were standing together. And how did it happen? Because God first said it is not good for man to be alone. There was a sense of incompleteness within Adam that God actually felt. And he said, look, I'm going to create a partner for you. And he put the man into anesthesia and pulled out a rib and then created the woman. And the most wonderful thing is, the first ever love song that was ever, sung in the whole human realm was sung by Adam. And this is what he said. He didn't know the lovey-dovey stuff that we talk about today. All what he knew was that he had lost a rib, and out of the rib, now a woman has come full of bones and flesh. So he said, this is now my bone of bones and flesh of my flesh. Now again, he identified, she's not someone apart from me, but she is with me. Now, this is the understanding of the gender equality, the foundation of the scriptures. And then we also find something wonderful in talking about women. Thank God for women. You see, I hope all the men will say aye to that. Huh? They are gifted people. Well, I'm married and so I can't do without my wife. You see, I need her so much. Right. So, whether you are married or not, you see, women around us are needed. In our experience in a church, when we want to celebrate something, okay, we talk about a meal. And Ajanta, tell me, who are the people that are always called upon to look after the, the hospitality part of it? Who?
All the good women.
All the good women. Okay, she added something, all the good women. Thank God for that. So, therefore, the Christian understanding is they are very complementing to each other, which is a very important word. When it comes to marriage also, we talk about it. It's a complementing relationship and not a kind of a authoritarian relationship, put upon one person and the other is subjected. You see, now I know people quote saying, all right, okay, but St. Paul says that, obey your husbands. Right. Now that's a wrong way of reading the scriptures, because it is all in the whole concept of loving your partner. Love your wives. That's what he first says. And then he says, okay, obey your husbands. Now, there's a big argument about this. I'm not going into that here now. But I'm sure the wives know how far they obey, but how far they also go and get the husbands to obey. I mean, that's no secret, right? Otherwise we can't do it. What do you say, Mr. Jayasekara? Yes, that's right. So it's not just, obedience that people are so scared of. In that relationship, if the husband provides love, definitely the wife will be moved to work together with the husband. If there is no love but only commanding, husband can't be a commanding officer. You see, once I had to actually meet up with a couple where the husband was serving in one of the forces and the wife was very, very upset. Then she said, he never loves me. Why? For him, all what he needs is, I am his ceremonial wife. I said, ceremonial wife? What do you mean? No, when it comes to the military ceremonies, gosh, he takes me, he dresses me up and all that. After that, he doesn't care for me. So these issues are there. And we have to address them because, your military position or your executive position in a company or whatever does not mean that you can press down and make the wife be submissive to you. What a lot of light my wife throws which I cannot see. And sometimes, okay, like a big man, first I say, no, this is the best way to do. But she listens and then she says, how about this? You see, then of course we have to admit. So you can't do one without the other. Let's establish that. Then of course, coming to this whole question about, the issues that are relating to this bill. Actually, I just shared a word with Madam Chra, and I have one problem. When you come to the end of it, under section 10, or I don't know how you refer to it, it says, gender means and includes men, women and persons belonging to transgender minorities, and would include any new identities which may emerge in the future. That is too vague and too open. I will not agree to this unless this is removed. When issues come, yes, we have to face the issues. We have to come up with whatever, rules and regulations and enactments and all these things. But to leave this world, that in the future you never know what comes up. And does it mean that we are willing to accept anything and everything and make it become, part of our regulations of this country? That's very, very dangerous. No matter what faith you follow, I believe that future things can be decided future. Now we need to deal with, we have the transgender society. And I'm glad that we have a representative here today who has been recognized. We need to recognize them. We need to know that they have their rights. Yes, certainly. Because, I don't know whether you are aware, right? It may not be the same, but in the New Testament of the Bible, the person who started or took the gospel to the Ethiopia was an eunuch of the king of Ethiopia. Now, can anybody say that somebody who is not a man or a woman cannot be used by God? I don't accept it. We have had certain issues. For certain reasons, things have come up as challenges to us. But we find that, God can use any person. Any person. Now, let me tell you, when we were children, right, we were given certain guidelines by our parents about gender issues in their own language. And they also made us become aware that it's not only, male, female, but there can be inclinations that people will have, male to male, female to female. Thank God we learnt it. And we were also told, how to treat them, and also how to keep yourself safe from each other going in different directions which are not acceptable in the scripture. Now the issue is, has the church become too judgmental on such people? People who don't share the same sexual, interactions and understanding, have they been judged by the church? I'm sad to say, yes. I have to admit that. I don't know how my other colleagues will say, yes. We have been very biased. But at the same time, the church has also had people with different sexual orientation serving and working in the church. Right? We knew that they are there. And also, they have rendered so much of wonderful, services to the society. We have had prominent physicians, surgeons. You see, I have been going to a surgeon from my childhood days who was not of the same sexual, experience that we have. But We were great friends. You see, we related to each other. He never approached me in a wrong way. But his own personal life, I know how he lived. But he was also a churchman, well respected. He was in the standing committee also of his church. He was someone that was advising school heads on education. Thank God for that. Right? Then we have also had, one of the most wonderful scientists who lived in Sri Lanka, we know. Right? And we also know that in the society, even today, there are people with these different sexual orientations. Let's understand. We cannot encourage, if you ask me, do you agree with that? What I say is, I accept them, though I don't agree with how they live. I accept them. I relate to them. I think people of all faiths and religions must learn to live with them and not treat them as second class or third class citizens. No way. They are human beings. They are created in God's image. For some reason, something has happened which I can't explain. Has science completely explained everything profoundly and said finally this is it? No. They are also still exploring. They said one thing about 20, 30 years ago. Now they're saying something else. And this will go on. But one thing needs to be remembered. Every religion must have the opportunity to make their suggestions and comments on acts like these. Because Sri Lanka belongs to Asia. Let's keep that very clearly in mind. Yes, we are in a global system, but we have our Asian values. And we have our religious values in this country, which cannot be ignored. The religions must learn to be accommodative without being judgmental on people. That's what Jesus said to the woman found in sin. He told the people who brought her, the one who has never sinned, cast your stone. All went away. And Jesus said, neither do I condemn you. But he gave her a wonderful moment of receiving his love and appreciation and acceptance. And that was a transformative experience for her. So, I'm not going beyond this, just throw some light from our Christian concept, and I'm sure in our discussion we will be able to share much about it. Thank you. God bless you.